Please note that this content is for educational purposes and for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. More details available in the description box. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we continue to deep dive Annette Harris's case. She was last seen on January 9th of 2024, which was a Tuesday in Detroit, Michigan, and investigators and police and now the state as well believe that she was murdered by 42-year-old Jarvis Butts, and he was arrested in 2024 on September 27th, and recently in January 2025 there was a preliminary hearing to see if this case had enough evidence to go to trial, which thankfully the judge said yes it does, even though Annette Harris's body has never been found. And I think that's incredibly sad, and I hope in sharing more of this map time and timelines and deep dives that it can help, the case. Maybe it could help someone think, oh, you know what, I might have seen his car over there, or you just never know. Also, never feel like if you have a tip to share with the police that it's too small, you can share it with the police. It might really help the case. I have put the details of who to contact in the description box for you. Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Welcome to all my patrons, members, subscribers, any locals in chat. I see there's a lot of locals that have been in chat with us, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you for all the emails and all the information you share. If you do want to share anything with me, or any corrections or any points to add or anything like that, my email is grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. All right, please like and share so others know we are live right now and so they can also deep dive the case. The trial date hasn't been set yet. The next court date is March 7th of 2025, and then I guess at that point it's like a conference hearing, so they will be discussing the logistics of the case, and maybe we'll hear when the trial date is after that, even though it's obviously subject to delays, as many trials are. Tanya, thank you so much. Welcome. Now, if you didn't see yesterday's detailed timeline presentation, I would highly recommend checking it out. Where to find it would be in the description box on the playlist for this case. It's called Annette Harris. In brackets it says Jarvis Butts trial. Trial hasn't happened yet, but we're preparing ourselves for the trial. But of course, I think the most important thing would be finding Annette. And I really, really hope that Annette will be found. I never give up hope that, a missing person or a missing body, how sad is that to say for a 13-year-old, will be found. I want to remind you about a case. It was Dee Warner's case. Do you remember the case of Dee Warner? She was last seen, I can't remember her exact age now, but she was a married lady, she had kids, and she was last seen April 25th of 2021. And her husband was eventually arrested, but on kind of unrelated charges. And then eventually it was also a circumstantial evidence case. That trial also hasn't happened yet. So April 25th, 2021, is when Dee Warner was last seen. On May 1st of 2024, there was a preliminary hearing. And guess what? On August 16th of 2024, they found her body. They found her body in an anhydrous tank on the property of the husband. Do you remember that case? So the point of that is, if she went missing, I'm using the case as an example because Dee Warner went missing April 25th of 2021. It took 3.5 years to even, to find her body. 3.5 years. But within 3 years, there was a preliminary hearing, and everyone was saying there, including obviously the state, like, this is so sad because they didn't find her body. And then they did. So I always have hope that they will find answers, that they can find missing people, missing remains, and things like that. I really hope they will. So today what we're going to do is look again at the map time. It's going to be a little more detailed than yesterday with one correction as well. And so let me show you this. That's what we will be doing. We'll be looking at where Jarvis Butts may have traveled, so that just in case. And I wouldn't just recommend people just go out there, stomp around and search, because you must stay safe, number one. And you must also be emotionally prepared for if you do find remains. I mean, I think a lot of people, they don't realize, well, what happens if you do find them? Firstly, don't touch anything. Call the police. Report what you have found, right? Okay, so now let me bring up the map time song quickly. Okay, and we are back. Let me bring up the map for you here, and I'll make it nice and big screen for you in a moment. You can see I've got all these points on there for us. We did some of this yesterday, as I say, but we're going to look at a little bit more detail now, because some people were asking on email and in the comment section, can I please share, the distances between some of these points? And of course I can. Also, Danny DPOC said, and that was in Michigan too. You are right. Dee Warner was a woman who disappeared from Franklin Township, Michigan. That was April 25th of 2021 in a suspected murder. Her body was discovered by police on August 17th of 2024 while executing a search warrant on Dale Warner's Paragon Road property. Her body was discovered in a resealed anhydrous tank similar to a residential propane storage tank. And so on November of 22nd of 2023, her husband, Dale John Warner, was charged in the state of Michigan for her murder. So that's the case I was referring to, meaning even though it felt like, oh no, what if they never find her body? They found her body. Eventually they found her body, right? All right, so here we've got the map, right? And if you were with us yesterday, these points should look quite familiar to you. If not, don't worry, we'll familiarize ourselves now. So we're in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and we're going to go now quickly here to the auto repair shop where Jarvis Butts, the suspect, worked, right? So what we did yesterday was we did this, okay? Go there, Google man. And we were looking around the shop here like this. And so this is the shop where he worked and where Neziah went to on January 9th of 2024 after school. Now, I was wondering, would she have walked there? And so I wanted to show you, we're going to look at so many things today. Okay. I wanted to show you this map, okay? And so Cornwall Street and 3 Mile Drive is where she got off the bus that day. And if you walk it, this would be a plausible scenario, especially where she came from. She got, hello, Google, don't be naughty now. Okay, she got off the bus and she walked down, she walked here and she turned right on Bedford Street. So then she could have easily turned left here as well and made her way to the auto repair shop. Now, the reason that's actually plausible is if you go and re-listen to Sergeant Jones's testimony, the one who read out the text messages, there is a point at which, you'll see the thumbnail, it says text messages as well. It's a part of the playlist, right? There is a point at which it's around the 2:27 mark for the timestamp. It's almost at the beginning of when she starts reading those text messages with a timestamp. She says that on July 10th of 2023, Neziah sent Jarvis Butts a message and she said, your job so empty, I was just there. And he was like, what? How'd you get there? And she said, oh, I walked there, but I didn't want you to see me, so she says I left. But you see, that means she has walked there by herself in the past. And so it wouldn't be, I know it was very cold. Okay, I had a look at the weather, and if you are local, please tell me if this looks about right. Does this weather look about right? That looks so cold. I just said weather in Detroit, Michigan, January 9th, and this was January 9th of 2024. Does it say 2024 there? Oh, that's 2025. But even now, like this is around that time, right? I did ask for 2024. Listen here. Let's go to January 9th, a Tuesday of 2024. I mean, this is in Fahrenheit. Look at the morning. Look at the day. 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, 37 degrees Fahrenheit, for those of you who are like me, who work in Celsius, that's 2 degrees Celsius. That's 2 degrees Celsius. Now, you guys are saying Detroit is very cold, obviously, especially in winter, and it was winter. Walking for an hour is crazy. Is it crazy? I don't know. I love to walk an hour a day to get my steps in, But for a 13-year-old who was pregnant, that could have been pretty far, right? Could have been far. Yes. So let me see. They have not found a body. Yeah, okay, yeah, true. Kathleen is reminding everyone they have not found Neziah's body. I was giving an example of a no-body case where hope was kept alive, and after 3.5 years, they eventually found that lady's body. The point of me comparing cases is to say never give up hope. Never give up hope. You never know They could find Naziah's body today, tomorrow, before the trial starts, you know? And I think it would be important that they do. It'll make the case so much stronger. So yeah, this is the weather we were looking at. But if you look at this, this is where Naziah got off on the bus, and she would have, if she walked here. But there is also public transport, so I'll quickly show you that. So that would have taken, it would have been from around here, and then you'd have to wait and transit there. So that would have taken about 28 minutes, which is also possible, okay? Melissa Loves True Crime says, I will walk in 30-degree weather, but not that cold weather. Yuck. All right, so now what I want to show you, we're going to go back to this map over here, right? Please excuse my resizing. I want to make sure it's nice that you can see everything. So I'll resize things quite a bit today, right? So this auto repair shop. Now what we looked at was this travel in, okay? Now if you look at the aerial view of this travel in on a normal Google map, there is a pin on it that says Park Crest Inn, right? And Park Crest Motel. So that's been a little confusing, and it's been bugging the absolute crap out of me because I'm like, why does it say travel in on the wall then? Okay, so I've been driving around the building, and I had noticed that the address on the wall says 11560 Harper. And of course, we heard that the forensic techs said that it's 20,000 Harper. Now, thank you to Texas 2 Pugs. I think you're here, right? I think I saw you. There you are. You said she was walking north on Bedford. She was walking north on Bedford. We're back here now. Let's go here. Wait. But thank you, Texas 2 Pugs, for also investigating that travel in. I see it was bugging the crap out of you too. Me too. Okay, so she was dropped off. Here's Bedford. Let's just put the little man here. And we are back at the house here. So she was coming from here is the bus stop, and she turned down here from Cornwall, and she turned right. This is where the camera caught her, right? Okay. Yes. Cornwall, Bedford. This is where she was walking this way and turned there. All right, so we've got that. Now, this travel in, as I say, that address bugged the crap out of me. I didn't quite know what the hell. Look here. If you say Park Crest Motel, it should take you to a different one now. But just wait, I want to show you something. I hope you guys follow along with me today. 9000 Cornwall Street, yes. Let's just see if it shows it here. Sometimes on this building, on top of it, it'll say the pin of Park Crest Motel, Park Crest Inn. But that's not the correct address, and so therefore we're going to correct a little something here today. We're going to 20,000 Harper Avenue in Harper Woods, Michigan. Now, it's not much further away from the store, okay? It is 9 minutes to drive from the store, and it is only 5.4 miles. But actually, you know when we did like part 1, 2, 3, 4? Somewhere in there I did map time, and this was the one I initially had. This was, ironically, the one that I initially had. Stefan says, that motel looks as filthy as the auto repair shop. So if we go from 9000 Cornwall Street, now follow along with me. Are you ready? Are you all ready? Wait, maybe I do need to bring up my presentation so that you can just see this quickly. We'll go back to the timeline, right? Cordell, right, and January 9th. Okay, so we went over the text messages that Naziah sent, and then she got off the school bus and was walking at 2:54 p.m., right? Cordell's timeline, we've seen that one as well. Let's just see. And now we go to the next slide. 6:38, so there we go. So at 8:28 p.m., Cordell says they got back at around 8:45. That's probably when he left to go home because he was on tether. This one. Jarvis's phone was in the area of his home on Wilshire around 8:48 p.m. and 8:59 p.m. So if Cordell left the shop at 8:45 p.m., then I was wondering, okay, and then what did Jarvis do? So he went home, or to one of his homes. He had many ladies that were mothers of his children, and he seemed to just circle around between those homes. But he went home on Wilshire around 8:48 p.m. And then at 9, he was in that area until about 8:59 p.m. At 9 p.m., he drove to Car Swap with Latricia, which is also very close by. And he took her blue Nissan Sentra and said that he was taking his son somewhere. And then he checked into the Park Crest Inn motel at 20 Park Crest Inn Parkrest Inn, okay, at 20,000 Harper at 9:30 p.m. See, and yesterday I was wondering, it was bugging me because I'm like, but if it is the one across the road, then what did he do? Did he go back to the shop? What's with the 15 to 20 minutes of extra time? What did he do? No, now we know, oh, well, if you're driving that extra 10 minutes, well, there you go. You're driving, you're parking, you're checking, and all of that type of thing. So, yeah, that helps with the address that we have, which is over here. Not too much further, but not right across the road. That travel inn is not the correct inn. That's apparently a motel. It's a travel inn. It's a travel inn, and we want to go to the Parkrest Inn. Now, let me quickly show you how we can confirm this, okay? I always hope that the thoughts in my head and everything I've been deep diving, that I'm explaining it properly so that you can follow along with me, follow my process with me. So Harper Avenue, here we go, and I started driving from the previous one to this one, and then I was like, oh, there it is. It literally says it on the wall. It says it on the wall, 20,000 Harper Avenue. There it is. This is the one that Jarvis Butts went to. This is the one he apparently was there at. He frequented this place. He was there a lot. Okay, some people have suggested, maybe they should check their roof. It's not a very tall building, but not a bad idea. If no one has checked the roof, please do so, because you just never know. There's actually, you can't drive through there. You can actually literally, you could drive around the corner though. And so I went there today. Okay, here we go. Right, you can drive around the corner here. And there's a dumpster type, here's this. So just in case, just look at it, okay? But, the police unfortunately only started really working the case a month later. So we must remember that as well, because Naziah's grandmother and aunts failed to report it to the actual police and went to the dean's office, and the principal, and they told the school police. Oh my goodness. And then it sat there for a month before the actual police were contacted. That is absolutely devastating. Because not only if he put anything in a dumpster, and if that went to the landfill, ooh, that's going to be so difficult to find. But also, I don't know how long they retain their camera footage here at this place, right? Okay. So, let me quickly see if I'm missing anything. Brandy said switch your map dates to 2024. Map dates, okay. We switched the weather dates. Emily said her body is somewhere close. He wasn't gone long enough to go far. That's what I'm thinking. That's why we're going to go over this map time extensively, like into the wild. She's in the city, people stumble onto bodies. And Emily also said there was also a text asking her to walk up to the shop, and he said, because you've done it before. That's a good point, Emily Toombs. I'm quickly catching up on what I missed. Stefan, thank you for reminding everyone that I am driving and they need to buckle up. And here we go. Okay, so now we're behind the building. This is the Parkrest Inn, 20,000 Harper, okay? Harper Woods, Michigan. So we're driving around, and it does say over here, it says closed circuit television, 24-hour surveillance recorded on video. All activities are recorded to aid in the prosecution of any crime committed on this premises. Okay, so we can see the building here. This is apparently where we went, and ironically, you can't turn this way now. You have to just go all the way back. So I'm going to do this. But while we're here at this Parkrest Inn, let's go back to the front of the building so that I can show you where they actually went. And he booked room number 69. I don't know if that was like his frequent room or whatever. But remember on January 10th of 2024, the next day, the day after Naziah was last seen alive, the next day, Jarvis allegedly checked out at noon. And so yesterday, someone in chat said, yeah, but that you said, wait, it was court lurker. You said you work in a hotel, and sometimes there could be this automatic checkout. Like maybe you could just do a key drop off, there's a little box, drop the key off, and you would be automatically checked out at noon. Now, I'm curious as hell, and I phoned the Parkrest Inn. But let me first tell you, I had to phone a few times because they do not... I was like, hi, my name is Gisela, and I'm phoning from Switzerland. Boop, they put the phone down. And I'm like, what? Hello? So I phone again. Hi. And that's what you're going to hear now. I recorded it for you. Of course I did. I did. If I'm making a call, because I'm an anxious person, I don't call, okay? When I make a call, and if it's for something that might help, okay, I'm going to record it so that I can just share that with you. So listen to this. Let me know if you can hear it. Hello, I just lost you there on the previous call.
Okay, what is this about?
Oh, I just wanted to know what your checkout time was.
You said what?
I just wanted to know if I stay there, what is your checkout time?
Oh, you say you call us from Switzerland. I'm like,
Oh, she says, oh, you said you're calling from Switzerland. I'm like, yeah, you literally put the phone down on me. Oh, yeah, don't worry. No, I just live in Switzerland and I was just curious what your checkout time was.
you coming here?
I'm not planning to right now, but I might in the future, yes?
11.
11 is your 11. Checkout time is 11. But then I had another question, of course. Oh, dear. Checkout time. And if somebody didn't check out, right? If you just, is there an automatic checkout? You know what I mean? Like if you drop off your key and you leave, is there an automatic checkout?
Yes, they have to drop the key off.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. And that's it. That's as far as I got, okay? But I just wanted to know, okay? I wanted to know because Jarvis took Latricia's car back that morning at 8 or 8:30. Okay. And then what all did he really go and check out? Did he go back? Did he go back to the motel to check out? He just doesn't seem the type, right? Stefan said, next vacation, Park Creston. I don't know if they welcome me there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they want me to come visit. I'm like, come on. Like, I want to know. Like, aren't you an inn? What if I want to book from here? Why can't I be there? So, yes. So, Jarvis, I was just wondering, would that guy really go back there? So, January 10th, right? His phone pinged at the inn between 10:52 p.m. and 12:37 a.m. At 1:11 a.m., his phone pinged at 4 East Alexandrine, okay? So don't worry, we're going to go over the distances and everything. I just quickly want to show you something because somebody also emailed me something interesting and it was, wait, we've got lots of maps going on here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we have from the inn, Parkrest Inn, to, would this be, yep, 4 East Alexandrine. And as I told you yesterday, can you go there, Google man? What are you doing? Shame, the Google man is like literally stuck in the air. Look at the Google man, he's stuck in the air. What are you doing, sir? Get on the ground, my word. Okay, thank you. Let's put you back there. Okay, so I was showing you yesterday that this is an apartment building and the defense actually said that one of Jarvis's girlfriends lives around here somewhere. Okay. And so I was looking, the pharmacy, no, he didn't go to the pharmacy would have been closed, but then there's also a children's hospital, and I don't know, my gut feel was just like, does that have something to do with anything? And then we decided, no, he obviously went to maybe just see if his girlfriend was there or something, but he was only, according to the location data, there for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then somebody emailed me their theory, so let me just quickly see if I can find it here. Oh man, there's so many emails. Please never get upset if I don't reply to your email because there's so many. Okay, so I keep all my sources anonymous. Thank you to the person who sent me this. And this is what they said. On my drive home from Michigan, I'm watching your 4th episode and wanted to share my theory with you. I believe Naziah was murdered at the shop. And I also think it's very possible, all right? But she said, he then goes and gets a car from the girlfriend. He goes back to the shop for just a minute, goes to the hotel for 2 hours, I believe. Within that time, he was planning how to get rid of the body, right? So I'm just going to censor that a little bit. And then they say this. Do you know what they have at those places are very large dumpsters that are emptied every morning? They're not emptied on a weekly schedule. And that is so true because they said they're emptied daily because they're hospital supplies. That's a good point. It's a very sad point, obviously. But if he went here just to go to like some kind of hospital dumpsters, oh my word, if they emptied every day, if he knew something like that, that is pretty scary, right? Is the hospital the one right in front of us? I think so. Somewhere over here. I don't know where that would be then, you know, where would he go? But that made me think as well, right? Jessica says there are so many abandoned homes in Detroit, or in Detroit, if he hid her in one, it could be near impossible to find. I would much prefer if she was hidden in an abandoned house because there's hope then that they will find her. If he went to a dumpster, oh no, that's going to be so difficult, but not impossible. But so difficult. Roaring Titty said they're biohazardous. Exactly. So I don't know if it would be like around the back or where to find that now. But that's a good point, you know, because he wasn't out there for all that long. So what we want to do now, okay, is firstly, I have shown you now the distance from the auto repair shop to 20,000 Harper, which is the Park Crest Inn, is 5.4 miles. Because yesterday people said with my map time, which I was using Google Earth, they didn't know what the mileage would be between them. So that's 5.4 miles, okay? This next one that I want to show you is actually interesting because, okay, so I just want to, there's some of those points I want to take out there. They're a little bit, they've got numbers on them. So just stand by this one. I want to show you this one. Remember how there were multiple witnesses that spoke about these points. 9,000 Cornwall Street is the auto repair shop. The one that Cordell said him and Jarvis opened this in the spring of 2023, right? Now, they also talked about Frank's that they used to work at, 2 locations, 2 different Frank stores, and also that they went to an auto zone on January 9th of 2024. And on the way back, that's when Jarvis, who was driving, said, hey, there's my niece, pretending that he didn't know she was on her way, even though she had texted him, okay? So, Melissa Loves True Crime says, I wonder if the police investigated that angle. Now, hang in there for today. We're doing a lot of map time right now, and what we're going to do very soon after this is look at what searches have already been conducted. Where have they searched so far that we know of, that was obviously shared with the news, okay? So, yes, Sherco said he used the girlfriend's car because his truck had GPS, whereas the girlfriend's car didn't. Good point as well. Okay, so now I wanted to show you this out of interest sake. The auto repair shop where they currently were working, obviously both are now currently incarcerated, and so was this one on 9,000 Cornwall Street. Now, very close by, actually, within, I'll tell you now the details, within 4.1 miles is the Frank's Auto Repair. Let's just go to this one. Look here. Shame. The Google man gets stuck, hey? Google man, he's like, I don't want to today. Listen here. We need you to go onto street level here. Thank you. Look here. Here's one of them. There it is. Now we can see it because I was trying to visualize it. If you're a visual learner like me, maybe, and I'm like nerding out on the maps, okay? And I'm trying to figure out where and what and everything. So I hope you're following along. This is one of the locations where they work together, Jarvis and Cordell. And you know what's strange is that Annette, the biological grandmother of Naziah, the legal guardian, aka the mother, the one who was supposed to be looking after her, right? She said in her testimony that she remembered Naziah and her cousin going to work at the shop, but she said it was Frank's. She didn't say at the 9,000 Cornwall one. In fact, it sounded like she pretended she didn't even know where they were currently working when Naziah went missing. And I'm like, that's just weird, because she said she drove around. She drove around that evening looking for Naziah, but you never called Jarvis and you didn't go to a shop to look for her there. Because guess what? If you're driving around at like 8:30, 9, you would have seen Naziah right there at the shop. Okay? So here's one of the Frank's auto repairs. And so we can see that one. The other one is what? That's 4.1 miles. So this one, 7.3 miles in total. How far is this one? 3.2 miles. Okay, let's go to the next one quickly. Which is, and also this one, is this Harper Road? Yeah, that's Harper Road. Okay, so they were talking about driving on Harper Road and turning around and seeing Naziah somewhere there on Harper Road. The other one, because Cordell and Jarvis met at a Frank's oil auto repair. So here's the other one. So we found that. And guess what's right across from this one? Here's the other one. Quick oil auto repair, Frank's oil shop. What's here on this other side is an AutoZone. AutoZone. I think they went there to get the water pump and maybe antifreeze. I think Jarvis wanted to maybe get it. Maybe he had it at his shop. I don't know. He was Googling it, a few months before. Stefan said, I don't believe that Granny was driving around and searching for Nazaya. I don't know. But this is probably the auto zone they went to because they were very familiar with this Frank's Auto Repair. So now, I don't know. I hope that's helpful. I hope you can see that. This is, I was going to say possibly not helpful to help find Nazaya, but you never know. You got to go where, well, when it would have to search, I hope the police have searched everything. I hope they've done search warrants everywhere. Because obviously we don't know everything. You know, the public knows maybe 5 to 10% of what's going on in a case. In case you didn't know that, yeah. You know, even if there's press conferences and documents, yeah, we don't know all that much. There's lots going on behind the scenes. But let's hope they've checked all these areas because they are familiar to Jarvis and they're not far from where he was, right? Now, the next thing that I want to show you, hold on. I will have to quickly, I just quickly want to take this one address off. So let's try to change this quickly. I just want to do that. And let's call this one like this. Okay. Nope, it still doesn't want to do it. Okay, we'll leave it. We'll look at my Google Earth one. So let me tell you that Jarvis, that night, right, he first went to his home along Wilshire Drive, and then he went to his other girlfriend's house, Latricia's, and that was around Balfour. She mentioned that as well. And then he went to the motel. Okay, so we have that. And so you have those distances. So stand by. Let me just bring this back up for you. And just, there we go. Stop the Google man and orientate ourselves. Okay, so we want to know where have they searched. You know what is interesting is that in finding clips of where they'd already searched, you know that they searched this, maybe if you know, if you've been following the case for long, they searched this pond at, I don't know how to pronounce this one, Gratiot Avenue, and East 14 Mile is the street they mentioned. But this pond, they actually extensively went to search before the Rouge River area. Now, if you don't remember where that Rouge River area, it was at Berg and 7 Mile, which is in this area over here. The clothing was found along, in this wooded area of Berg and 7 Mile. And Nazaya's ID card was found like on the ground. There was that granny that was stepping over it for 2.5 weeks. So the combination of these two things, right? The state alleges that they think that Jarvis traveled here with Nazaya or with Nazaya's body, even though cadaver dogs didn't react to any of the vehicles. Then they say maybe he murdered her there, maybe he disposed of her there. They're not too sure. But for me, I think like a lot of you are saying it in the comments as well. This could all just be like a distraction. Like, let's put the clothing here in plain sight. Let's throw them off, right? And put the ID card here, you know, leaving like a false trail. I don't know. I also intuitively, it's just a gut feel, okay, think that he may have hidden her a little bit closer to the shop. The shop would be the center point. And whether he went, I don't know why they were searching here, and we're gonna actually listen. They say due to investigative leads, and you see, we haven't heard much about that at the preliminary hearing. They never really talked about this pond. So that's interesting. That means obviously they have a lot more information, thankfully. And then just all of these areas that he went to, especially knowing, if you look at the map, knowing that on January 9th, that evening, and going into the early morning hours of January 10th, he was mostly in this area over here. Now, what I want to show you is quickly a radius of that. What does that mean, right? So if we go from the shop and we look at a radius, even up to the pond, that's a 10-mile radius. You see that? And if we go to around Berg Road and 7 Mile, well, that's a 14.5-mile radius. And even, yeah, to East Alexandrian, if he was just there between 20,000 Harper, the Park Crest Inn, 9,000 corner of the shop, and East Alexandrian, that's a 5-mile radius. You know, so I think this 5-mile radius, oh my goodness, I would say that this is very important as well, right? Obviously. And I'm hoping that the police have searched a lot, and I hope they continue to search, because we don't hear too much about that. We're hearing about civilian searches and people wanting to search, but they want to make sure that it's safe and everything. Of course, you can't just go bust into abandoned buildings and houses. There's actually one lady that broke into Jarvis's shop, and she found a toothbrush, and it looked like almost like 2 little bottles of hand wash and sanitary pads there. And she's like, what the hell is this doing here? She didn't say hell, she said the F word, okay? But what is this doing here? And it was just weird, just seeing it just there in his shop like that. But, okay, don't break in anywhere. Don't be unsafe if you are going to search. Make sure it's in groups and organized and that the police know also so that one doesn't like harm the investigation. I just know that there's a lot of people very keen to search. And so I'm just hoping that this map time helps narrow down any areas, whether there's a group around here and then obviously around here as well. If we go from this Berg Road, I mean, I wouldn't know how far one had to go out. Even if you go to the maximum of the pond, that's 20 miles, a 20-mile radius. But, you know, people like Jarvis, these types of criminals, you know what I mean? They're usually pretty dumb. So I think one would have to think what's familiar to him. So that's why I think the shop is a red flag to many people. And so many people are saying, what about, okay, wait. Oh, we're still there, okay. What about going here? A lot of people have been driving around behind, as in literally driving around, okay? Literally with their cars and taking videos. Driving here on Harper Road, behind this shop, they say there's like an abandoned school. So here's the shop and a sit-go. Hello. Listen here. Maps. Excuse me. Maps is not co-op. It's too many maps loaded today. Maps is like, I don't like it, lady. You've got too many loaded. Sit-go, car wash, shop. And they say behind you somewhere is an abandoned school. So I don't know which building exactly, but there are very sadly a lot of abandoned buildings where he could have put her. Now let me show you another thing. I want to show you quickly what a civilian has searched. And then I'm going to show you official police searches and divers in the Rouge River and things like that, right? Okay, so look at this one. I hope you can hear that. Can you hear it? Wait, we have to put the sound on like this. Okay, so that 7 Mile and Berg area. Across the road is where I believe this search is. Someone just walking around there. But like, just look at what they found. Okay. Look at these barrels.
Oh, it's some
And there's crime scene tape on there. Like what?
little tub.
It says caution tape.
That someone needs to open and look in.
Damn.
There's a door open right there. There's a lot of debris right here.
Again, this is around that Rouge River area.
I don't know why a kid's ball would be over here. That's the other shed. Okay, hold on, y'all. I gotta pull out my fire because somebody come running out on me. I'm gonna have to let them know.
Okay, so, but I wanted to mostly show you those barrels and they're just looking around this area as well. I will link all of this for you, all right? So, what we're going to look at next is, of course, we're going to be looking at what searches were conducted. Southern Calibi says, gee, can we make a stop at Sitco? I need road snacks. Okay, yes. Also, interesting, yes. Beth Ann said, isn't Belford the address Naziah asked her Aunt Shannon about? Yes. Balfour and which other road? That's interesting, actually. And that would be near where this car was picked up. So I wonder, I must go back to those text messages or the aunt's testimony and figure out when was that Naziah was asking about that address, because that's interesting as well. Also, don't you think it's weird that Naziah's Aunt Shannon she said a few things that I was like, wow, because I re-listened to these things. I don't know about you. Do you watch the replays? Because I do. I re-listened to things. And the way she said, wait, you're going to hear some paper flapping? So just hold on 1 second. The way she said it was, wait. It was just a uncle and a niece relationship. No more than that. I mean, you're saying that in January of 2025. What? I don't know. That's like such a red flag to me. That sounds more like you knew. What do you mean? Other family members have apparently come forward and said that no, they knew. They knew from it was going on from 2022 already. So that's interesting. Just an uncle and a niece relationship? No more than that? Interesting. She also said, Shannon said that she will have her text Jarvis sometimes. That Neziah would never really text Jarvis by herself, but sometimes Shannon would ask her to text Jarvis. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you need Neziah to text Jarvis? So that is just so strange. If you ever want me to just bullet point some of the testimonies or go over these questions that I have as well, because I'm just filling up this notebook of things that just go, what? Then let me know in the comments section so that I know what you would like me to bullet point or break down for you as we continue to study the case. Of course, the point being to try to help, yes, bullet point things, defluff things, focus, okay, in case it can help someone jog their memory, check a ring cam, check footage that maybe they took, whatever it could be that could help the police to find, I don't know what just fell, what happened, sorry about the noise, to help the police find Neziah, right? Okay, so what I want to show you now would be this. Okay, let me see. Let me make sure the sound is good. I hope so. Here we go.
Afternoon, Detroit police and Michigan State police searched a pond off Quinn Road in the area of Gratiot and 14 Mile. 7 Action News reporter Rhoda Alsinaida is live in Clinton Township. And Rhoda, do we know yet if anything has been found or what led investigators there?
Yeah, good evening, Brian. Well, we have been in contact with police all day, and they are not telling us if anything or anyone has been found. But this search has gone from door to door on the streets of Detroit to now this search at a local pond here in Clinton Township near Quinn and Gratiot. What we do know is that MSP search and rescue boats have been on that pond. That's right behind me here over this fence. That has been going on for hours now. And of course, we know this is in relation to the missing 13-year-old Annette Harris. She was last seen exiting her school bus around 2:50 p.m. That was all the way back on January 9th near Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit. Her family reported her missing the very next day. Now, PD has been going door to door looking for her through numerous search efforts, including this one here today. Investigators say they don't think Neziah was abducted initially, but wouldn't say if they think she willingly went off with someone. Now, again, we did check in with police at this time. There is no one in custody regarding her disappearance, and her family, they just hope to have her home soon. Now, police say that this search is all connected to her disappearance. Now, they wouldn't tell us, again, if anything had been found, but we will make sure to stay on this for you.
Right, that's when they searched that pond, which is actually very interesting. Now let me show you this as well. Look at this one. Let me just check the speed. I was listening at it. Yeah, I was listening at 1.25 speed. That's normally I like that at 1.5, but let's go at 1.1. Okay, this, by the way, let me tell you the dates. This is from March 12th of 2024, okay? March 12th. Remember, the police only really got onto the case on February 13th or so of 2024, a month after Neziah was last seen, which, oh man, that's very sad, because I think the family obviously had the capacity to call the actual police, to call 911 if you want to, right? Call 911, call the Detroit police, keep on calling, show some concern. Don't just go to bed and say, I'll just go to the principal the next day and then just leave it at that. Like, what? So now we're going to go down a road, a little bit of what happened in the history of this case. Where did they search? What did they say? So March 2024, okay, that's when this is from.
Harris, let's listen in.
Ready? Yeah, well, first let me start off by thanking members of the Detroit Police Department, our homicide team, our missing persons team. I also want to make sure I thank the Southeast Dive Team and the Mutual Aid Strike Teams for helping us in our efforts today. The goal, of course, is to bring some closure to the family, to identify where little Neziah is, and that's what we're here for today. You all are very familiar with this case with regards to when she came up missing, but I will highlight it. On January 9th, she was last seen at 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall. On January 10th, the family made a missing report to Detroit Public School Police Department. On February 12th, we met with DPS PD. At that time, I made a decision to take the case over. On February 13th, we got deeply engaged in the case, and our investigative efforts have led us to where we are today, searching this area based.
So since the Detroit Police Department, the Missing Person and Homicide Unit got on the case, I think they did a really good job so far. Of course, they haven't found Nazia's body, but all the evidence that they gathered, that they managed to collect to be able to charge Jarvis with Nazia's murder as well as sexual assault, CSAM material, and 2 other victims as well. 2 charges related to SA of 2 other victims. I think they did a really good job from when they got on the case. I just really wish, obviously we can only wish in hindsight, that they were on the case sooner, because I'm sure they would have been able to collect more video surveillance, more evidence, obviously test the vehicles then much sooner.
On some evidentiary information that we have identified.
Can you talk about this search today and all this coordinated effort? You have so many agencies here.
Yeah, we've got our local, state, federal partners, the Southeast Dive Team, all at the table assisting us in this search. We've got our own dive team from Detroit Police Department here. Oakland County Sheriffs are here. Wayne County Sheriffs are here. Just a tremendous partnership and effort, all with the goal of bringing some closure to the family.
I mean, doesn't it really help to see? Because I don't know, if you were like me, I was wondering as well, how much did they search? Is there any search footage? Do they have any helicopter footage? Like, what happened? They spoke about that there were divers, there were drones, helicopters, cadaver dogs, tracking dogs, everything, right? But we as a community here, we hadn't seen that. And I just haven't seen it that much in the news. And I mean, I only heard about this case recently, especially because all of you emailed it to me. Everybody was asking me, please, can you cover this because of the preliminary hearing. Obviously, a lot more information came out then. But yeah, I mean, I really hope, even though it's more than a year later now since Nazia was last seen, I really hope they will be able to find her, right? Not only so that she can be put to rest the way that she should be, but also so they can prosecute Jarvis Butts fully. I think obviously a case where if they find her body, there's going to be such strong evidence against him, even though they already have enough evidence against him to be able to prosecute him.
Chief, this is now the 3rd body of water, I believe, that you all have searched. Is there anything you can tell us about tips that you guys may have received that led you to this, or if this has become a recovery effort at this point?
Well, we get a lot of tips. As you can imagine, our Detroit Rewards TV has provided us a number of tips and other sources, debriefing suspects and things such as that. There is something very specific about this area that we want to take off our list, and that's why we're here today. Unfortunately, as time goes on, it does start to look more like a recovery effort. We're prayerful that that's not the case, but we know how these things unfortunately play out, and there's certain aspects of the case that I am not prepared to discuss right now. That's given us some very serious concerns that it could lean towards that way. But if anybody has any information, knows where she's at or seen her, please let us know so we can investigate all aspects of it.
Chief, could you say if there's a person of interest related to her disappearance?
Well, we have a number of people that we are talking to and looking at. I don't want to classify him as a person of interest yet. We're very concerned about some of the things that they may know about the case, so we're going to be making sure that we debrief them and talk through everything that they know, when the last time she was seen, who the last people she was with, and the case is ongoing. I mean, they have worked tirelessly on this case 24 hours. We've got investigators under our homicide unit, under our missing persons unit, that have been working tirelessly on this case. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of information and quite a bit of evidence to go through to make a determination on where she's at and who's responsible for it.
We did see the dive team, I believe, got out of the water a little bit ago. Is the search still ongoing for today at this location?
Yeah, it's going to be ongoing for a number of hours. It's a very complex process that they use. They basically take the body of water and grid it out, and then they go through certain parts of the grid, eliminating that grid as where she could be, and that's scheduled to go on throughout the day.
Are there any particular challenges that you guys have been running into while you've been in Clinton Township and Rouge River and New York State?
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness the weather's cooperated, so they're not dealing with ice and things such as that, at least on the top levels. But they've run into some literal log jams and things such as that they're working through. And as you can imagine, in this type of environment with the water and debris and things like that, but they're professionals, and this is what they train for, and this is what they do. So we don't anticipate anything not being checked as a result of some problems. But we'll certainly update you if something changes.
Appreciating you may not be able to talk directly about what led you to here in Clinton Township. Can you talk about the timing? Meaning, was this relatively new information and you guys are acting on it? Just wondering about the time lapse and the why now the past week, I guess, if you're able to share.
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, I mean, you've been around a long time. There's a very complex part of the way we investigate cases, and new information is timed out based on what we need to do at a particular time. And I mean, it's an ever-evolving process, so it wouldn't really serve me any benefit to give you the interior workings of the investigative process, other than to say that this is a very important area for us to investigate. Now it's the time for us to get here and investigate it, and we're going to continue until we bring her home one way or the other.
And I hope they are still continuing, right? I don't know how much the police are still searching now, or where they're at with that, but I hope that they are continuing. Now, somebody was saying, they were asking about what's DPS. It's for Detroit Public Schools. And so, if you didn't know, Neziah was reported missing by her grandmother to the school, to the dean of the school. She went to the dean and the principal's office, told them that Neziah didn't come home from school, and they said they will contact the Detroit Public Schools Community Police. So it didn't go to the Detroit Police Department. It went to the Detroit Public Schools Community District Police Department, DPSCD. And if you remember the testimony, it also went to the guy that was in that role, working there, and then he retired the next day. So I don't know if that contributed to it, just, the case just kind of really standing still there for a month. But yeah, a month later, the police took over, and here you can see this is now a month after that, where they had this press conference, and you could see all the searches going on. Remember that Jarvis Butts turned himself in on February 7th of 2024, and that was for weapons-related charges. And I think he thought, yeah, cool, I'll turn myself in, and I'll be out by December, and no one will even think anything. See, turn myself in for that. But yeah, since then you have been hit with 4 more charges. First-degree murder, CSAM, and 2 sexual assault charges as well for 2 other victims. Okay, so if convicted, life without parole is what he's looking at. Plus 20, plus 15, plus everything. But life without the possibility for parole is the max sentence that he's already looking at for the first-degree premeditated murder charge. Now, some people ask, and I also asked myself, because I wasn't too familiar with what is the Detroit Public Schools Community District Police Department? And they say it serves several key purposes within the school district. So I'm just reading from my other screen if you wonder, where the hell am I looking? It is to ensure a safe learning environment. The primary goal is to provide a secure environment where students can achieve academically. The presence of officers helps maintain safety and security for students, staff, and visitors. Then for community engagement, the department focuses on building relationships within the school district and broader community. It includes efforts to mitigate conflict, reduces student arrests, and interrupt the school-to-prison pipeline. Officers engage in community events, coordinate activities, and work on fostering trust between students and law enforcement. It's also distinct from municipal policing. Unlike many school districts that contract with local police, DPSCD has its own certified police force. This department operates separately from the Detroit Police Department, but works in conjunction when necessary. Their approach is more community-orientated, focusing on qualitative measures like community engagement rather than just arrests or tickets. Also for security operations, the department oversees safety and security operations, which include staffing schools with both armed public safety officers and unarmed school-level security officers, ensuring each is properly equipped and trained to handle school-specific scenarios. And then visitor and student identification. They manage systems like the visitor ID badge system to screen for SOs. Did you screen for SO? Okay, and issue student ID badges for quick identification on campus, enhancing overall security. So like Neziah's ID badge as well. And so the thing is that the DPSCD, the school, right, police department's operations reflect a balance between traditional policing and a community-focused approach. I think that Annette should have reported Neziah missing to the Detroit Police Department. You know what I mean? To just go talk to the school and just leave it there. Not really follow up. What? Oh my goodness. Where's the concern for Neziah? Where was it? Why are you not panicking? Why are you leaving until the next morning? What is happening? These are rhetorical questions, I'm sure, but Okay, I wanted to show you another one, which would be this one, which is that area that they had searched by the Rouge River.
Check out this map so you can see where it happened. This is right in the area of 7 Mile and Telegraph near Greater Grace Temple. Let's get out to Pamela Osborne. She's live tonight. Now, Pamela, there was a large number of people and agencies involved today.
There's certainly word demand. We're talking about 13 state, local, and federal agencies all assisting Detroit police in this search. Now, this particular area was of great importance to them, although detectives and investigators weren't able to say why that was just yet. They searched for several hours here today, the whole while her family was right nearby.
This is where they found Nazia's items, those articles of clothing, the pink jumpsuit, her shoes, the black hoodie with some earphones in the pocket as well, and like a piece of paper in the pocket. That's what they found out in this area, the 7 Mile and Berg area, which is actually ironically very close to another one of his girlfriends or another one of the mothers of his children, right? Cree 920 said, I saw a comment on another podcast that said that they, the grandma and aunt, didn't care about Nazia and they didn't think the world would care. Guess what? We care. Yeah. And now the whole world is watching. This is an international audience. We've got a lot of people from all over the world here. So yeah, the whole world cares. And for anyone that's like, why didn't you cover this back then? I wish I had. I wish I knew about this case back then. Thank you to everybody who sent me emails to request me to deep dive this case, you know, and I really hope it helps. I hope the preliminary hearing and watching that together and breaking down all the information and then the map times and everything, I hope it will help. So Danny DPOC said, wasn't there mention of Angel Store? There's an Angelo's in Harper Woods, also her ID found at a bus stop. Curious. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, her ID was actually found at a bus stop near this area, this 7 Mile and Berg area, which I found that interesting, just kind of as if it's like chucked out the window or something. Again, in plain sight, which tells me like, Jarvis, did he think he was being smart by like leaving little breadcrumbs, like, you know, Nazia's clothing items, not even the ones she was last seen wearing? Okay. Even the shoes are confusing. I mentioned yesterday a channel called 2D Uncensored, and she was saying, why would Nazia, it doesn't even look like red and black and white shoes in the surveillance footage that we see of her. And she also said, normally, you know, especially girls our age, they would want to maybe match a little bit, like, and a lot of her outfits are quite matchy, meaning she was wearing powder blue jeans, a powder blue like jacket and a fur collar, so why would she be like, and red shoes? It may have been blue and white shoes as reported on her missing persons flyer. We're going to watch the rest of this clip in a moment. So this was the missing persons flyer. They said Nazia Harris went missing on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, sometime after 2:50 p.m. from Detroit's east side. She was last seen exiting a school bus in the area of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive. She was wearing a light blue jean shirt, light blue jean pants, pink and white Rugrats coat with a fur collar, and blue and white Nike gym shoes. Nazia is 13 years old, 5 foot tall, and weighs 130 pounds. 130 pounds, I don't know about that. Someone also said earlier, that doesn't seem accurate, I'm not so sure. They said call 1-800-SPEAK-UP.org as well, and there was a cash reward of up to $2,500. So in case you haven't seen that flyer before either, that's what was initially reported, which is why when the police found red and white Nike shoes out there with, you know, the pink jumpsuit and a hoodie, they were like, well, are these Nazia's shoes? And apparently a family said, yes, those are her shoes, right? But if she was wearing blue and white ones, where are they? Where's the Rugrats jacket? You know, where's the shirt that she was wearing under the hoodie? I don't know. There's so many items that could still be missing. Now, I don't know if I finished my sentence earlier. I just remember now I started a sentence saying, isn't it weird that Nazia's aunt said that on January 21st, remember Nazia went missing on the 9th? She charged her tablet, the one at home. I believe that she had a school-issued laptop and a school-issued tablet that stayed at the school, because I've listened to multiple testimonies now, and that's what it sounds like. Then she had a Wi-Fi only phone that her biological mother gave her, okay? And so she also then had a tablet that her grandmother bought her Christmas of 2022. That's what she said on the stand. So if she had this tablet at home, why on earth did they only charge it and check any messages on it on January 21st? If you really want to find Nazia, firstly, you report it to the police. Secondly, you check any devices at the home to see, hey, is there anything, any clue? You're going to charge it on January 21st and only then go through the messages? That's crazy. Why? Anyway, let's continue listening to this.
I don't have I can't.
Mervyn Jennings could hardly find the words to explain what life has been like.
Pause. That's Mervyn Jennings, Nazia's biological father. Maybe some of you who missed yesterday's episode, you want to see this. Just hold on one second. It might help. Okay. Mervyn. Did they say Jennings or they said Mervyn? Hey, show the names. Jennings. Okay, I've got Jenkins. Jennings. Mervyn is Naziah's biological father. He was a married man with children, and then he had an affair, and then he got Naziah's mother pregnant. Okay, and so they had decided to let Annette, Naziah's biological grandmother, take custody of Naziah. So Annette Harris, through, she said it was quite a process, became the legal guardian of Naziah. And her brother allegedly ran away when he was 16. Her brother's the one that said that her favorite color was pink. We haven't really heard that from anyone else. And that's another question. Where are all the candlelight vigils? If there have been any, please send them to me. You know, like candlelight vigils, is there going to be like a memorial for her? Is there anything in her honor? You know, the things we normally see in cases, where are those? Why can't we all know her favorite color? Why can't we know nice things about her, more things about her? You know what I mean? Does anyone care about her? We care about her, right? Okay, so Annette is the biological grandmother. Kenyatta is Naziah's mother. She gave her a Wi-Fi only cell phone. And then there was this tablet that Annette bought for Naziah as well that was at the home. Why would you check that on January 21st? And when you check it, then you just cuck out your boyfriend, Jarvis. Cuck out means crap out, basically. South African way of saying it. You're just cucking out your boyfriend and being like, oh, like I've seen the messages. You're not like concerned. Oh my. Okay, so this is Naziah's biological father, who apparently wasn't in her life much, right? But he is here, and he sadly passed away last year from congestive heart failure. He has done an interview on 7 Mile Radio. So I had linked 7 Mile Radio and Tootie Uncensored in yesterday's episode if you want to find it, or you can just search on YouTube 7 Mile Radio. And if you just scroll there, it should be there. An interview with Mervyn.
The words do explain what life has been like since his 13-year-old daughter, Naziah Harris, went missing. Today, he looked on as specialized dive and search teams from all over Metro Detroit combed through the Rouge River for any trace of her.
I've never seen anything, as much as I've been involved in missing cases and missing people, I've never seen anything like this.
That's DPD Commissioner Tamara Smith comparing the search for the missing teen to a scavenger hunt, one that seems to have shifted focus to a recovery.
We're prayerful that that's not the case, but we know how these things unfortunately play out, and there's certain aspects of the case that I am not prepared to discuss right now. That's given us some very serious concerns that it could lean towards that way.
On January 9th, Naziah got off of her school bus at Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive and simply vanished.
It's not normal for a 13-year-old to be missing over 2 months. There is no sign of life. There is no social media communication. There are no friends who've heard from her, no family.
It's been too much to bear for Mervyn, who believes someone out there knows something.
Yeah, she was such a happy little, just a happy little baby. And then I'll go in and talk to her grandmother. She was a beautiful, grandmother was beautiful. I don't know what happened.
And there was so much that police were not able to tell us at this point as this search continues. I did ask Chief White if there's any person of interest, at least, in the disappearance of Zanaya. Here's what he was able to tell us about that they've been talking to several people, and that one of those people happened to know information about the situation that was concerning to them, but that was all he was willing to say right now. Again, not saying that they have identified any specific person of interest in this case. For now, reporting live in Detroit, I'm Pamela Osborne.
Okay, so we have looked at that one. Then I wanted to show you this. Is there something I wanted to show you on here? Just some articles from before. I don't know if there was something specific. I definitely pinned this one for you. So let's have a look at what it is that I want to show you. They said it does start to look a lot more like a recovery effort. Police search the Rouge River for a second day. Shame. Optimism is waning in the search for a 13-year-old girl who disappeared more than 2 months ago in Detroit. Obviously now it's more than a year ago. On Tuesday, a team of area law enforcement, so this article is from, where's the date? March 12th, okay, of 2024. So they said on Tuesday, a team of area law enforcement is for a second day searching the Rouge River near Greater Grace Temple on the city's west side for Naziah Harris, who was last seen in early January. So this is, I wanted to show you these pictures, I remember now, just so you could see the pictures of the search. why are they searching the River Rouge? So here they say, speaking to WWJ's John Hewitt and other reporters, Detroit Police Chief James White acknowledged that hope is lessening, that they will find this child alive. Why are they searching the Rouge? There's something, very specific about this area that we want to take off our list, and that's why we're here today, the chief said. Unfortunately, as time goes on, it does start to look more like a recovery effort. We're prayerful that that's not the case. Now we know from the preliminary hearing, his cell phone data put him there for 2 hours at funny times, 11:40 p.m. until 1:36 a.m. That was January 10th, 11:40 p.m. till the next morning, around 1:36 a.m. He was in this area. But as I say, he knows someone that lives very close, 5 minutes from there. In fact, we must go back there. You know why? Because I keep forgetting to tell you that people email me that say there's a cemetery near here as well. And so between the area where they found Isaiah's clothing and the person who he knows, one of the mothers of his children apparently, between there is a cemetery. And if he buried her there, that would be interesting. I hope they've checked there. Obviously, that's impossible then for cadaver dogs, all right? Because, it's a cemetery. But then also, wow, if you bury someone in someone else's grave, that's very scary. Like, how are they going to dig up the whole cemetery? They can't do that. Well, they should if they think there's any reason to. But you know what I mean? Many people have emailed as well saying, what if he put it in the cemetery or near the cemetery or something like that? It's a possibility. You never know. So they said, okay, we read that. There was a heavy police presence in the area of 7 Mile Road and, wow, there's a word, Shiawassee, as the search continued throughout the afternoon. We've got our local, state, federal partners, the Southeast Dive Team, all at the table assisting us in the search, White said. We've got our own dive team from Detroit Police Department here. Oakland County Sheriffs are here. Wayne County Sheriffs are here. Just a tremendous partnership and effort, all with the goal of bringing some closure to the family. Last week, authorities searched a Clinton Township pond near 14 Mile Road and Gratiot Avenue for the teen. Now, what I didn't mention is the pond. We looked at it on the map. Okay, do you want to see it again? Is it that one? Is it this one? Wait, yes. Clinton Township. What's interesting about this is, you see, wherever Jarvis goes, he knows somebody. That's what it seems like to me. He goes around to his girlfriend's houses. And sorry if this term offends anyone, but his baby mama's houses. He goes around there, okay? And, I mean, he went to his home in Wilshire that night from the shop. Home in Wilshire, that's one baby mama. Then to the next one, Latricia's house, okay, goes there to do a car swap. Then he goes to a motel. Later he goes to another girlfriend's house. And then he's going to this area at some point. Clearly, we haven't heard any such evidence yet from the phone data. But the police went out here and actually searched this specific pond. That tells us they know something. So, obviously, they wouldn't just randomly be like, let's go search that pond. Who lives in Clinton Township? Well, Shannon, Naziah's aunt. How do we know that? Because Annette, when she took the stand, explained that. She said that there were 2 houses that they lived in their time on Bedford Road, right there near the bus stop where Naziah got off, all right? So she said in the first home, it was Annette, 2 foster kids, and Naziah, and Shannon and her 5 kids. She said, but Shannon wasn't there all the time. She had her place out in Clinton Township. So Clinton Township, I don't know where Shannon lived in Clinton Township. But if it's close to this, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting of like, wow, okay. So there they mentioned Clinton Township. They also mentioned that Jarvis, at some point they mentioned some kind of home in Clinton Township as well. And I think that Cordell also mentioned something about Clinton Township. So it's interesting that they went to search that area, right? Okay, so we have that. Now, what else did I want to show you? Wait, it was... Yes, we looked at this. Okay, I just want to see where we were. Clinton Township pond. So they searched a pond. It obviously doesn't sound like they found anything, right? Sharon says her clothing had blood on the hoodie, puncture wounds or tears in the hoodie. Not with blood, yeah, definitely. To me, it looks like a knife caused it or something. I don't know what did though, but on the hoodie. I'm wondering if blood was on the shoe. I don't think so, and I don't think they tested, I don't think they DNA tested the shoe from all the results I heard to confirm it was hers. It was family who confirmed that those were shoes, and they found the pair of Nike shoes, both. One was in the leg of the jumpsuit, bundled up in the jumpsuit. The other was found just a short distance away. Okay, so we have that. Now, if we continue here, Chief White did not identify any suspects in the case as the investigation continues. We have a number of people who we are talking to and looking at. Right? I don't want to classify them as persons of interest yet, White said. We're very concerned about some of the things that they may know about the case. So we're going to be making sure that we debrief them and talk through everything that they know, when the last time she was seen, who were the last people she was with. And this case is ongoing, the chief said. I mean, they've worked tirelessly on this case, 24 hours. We've got investigators under our homicide unit, under our missing persons unit that have been working tirelessly on this case. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of information and quite a bit of evidence to go through to make a determination on where she's at and who's responsible for it. She was wearing a light blue jean shirt, light blue jeans, and a pink and white Brug Roads coat with a fur collar when she went missing on Tuesday, January 9th in the area of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive. The rest we know here. Mervyn Jennings said he's been out every day searching for his daughter. I pass out the flyers, I read the comments, I look at this, I look at that. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Crime Stoppers is offering a cash reward of up to $2,500 for information leading to this missing child's location. And there are some numbers that you could call if you have any information. Right, that's public information. YouTube doesn't really like it when you share numbers anymore. But it's public information in a missing child's case. So if you know anything, if you saw anything, if you have anything, please call the police. It's not too late. Donna said, I think the holes in the hoodie could have been from dragging her on pavement or gravel. Interesting. You never know. Thank you so much for the sticker. Okay, so we have that. We've still got a few more things to look at here. Did we look at this one? Police search the Rouge River. Let's look at this.
That breaking news comes from Detroit, where a massive search party is on the ground in connection to the disappearance of a Detroit teenager. Thank you so much for joining us today at noon. I'm Keenan Smith. Right now, Detroit police and several other law enforcement agencies are scouring the Rouge River near 7 Mile and Berg on the city's west side. DPD confirms the search is in connection to the case of 13-year-old Neziah Harris, who was last seen in early January. We're expecting an update any minute now from Detroit Police Chief James White, and we'll bring you that update live as soon as it begins. But right now, let's get right to 7 Action News reporter Whitney Burney live on the west side with the latest on the search and what led police to this area. Whitney?
Hey, good afternoon, Keenan. This is now the third time that police have been searching a body of water here in Metro Detroit in connection to the disappearance of Neziah Harris. As you said, we are here near 7 Mile behind the Greater Grace Baptist Church. We've been here for about an hour or so watching as police have been meticulously combing through a creek here behind the church. A dive team did get out of the water about 20 minutes ago, but it's unclear if they are taking a break as we speak or if the search is being temporarily suspended. We are again waiting to hear updates from Chief White in the next few moments here. But as I said, they've been combing the creek behind the church meticulously for a few hours or so. I want to take our viewers, give them a view of what we've been seeing here on the ground. Several police agencies are a part of this search. Detroit, Downriver, Van Buren, and Monroe County Sheriff. A group of divers have been combing through that creek. There's a lot of brush that they've been having to work around. Just last Wednesday, police searched a body of water in Clinton Township. And then yesterday, they searched the area of Rouge River on the city's west side. And again, they are here today. It's unclear what information led officers to believe the teen may be in a body of water, but here we are. Harris.
It was the cell phone location of Jarvis Butts that led them to this area. It was also finding Neziah's clothing, and there were blood stains on them, and they were later tested to be positive for human blood and matching Neziah's DNA.
Was last seen on January 9th after getting off of a school bus near her home. That was on Cornwall and 3 Mile. We are now here at the search again, where police are looking for Neziah Harris. As I stated, we are expecting to hear from Chief White momentarily. He is expected to be pulling up here to the church shortly and giving us an update, and we'll of course bring you that live on air once
we saw that together. Okay, so what I'm going to do now quickly is, hold on, there's still a few more little things I want to show you. So let's look at this one here. I don't know if for you it brings comfort to know that they really did search. They searched a lot, just in case anyone wonders, because if the family didn't search, by that we mean, based on what we know, allegedly the grandmother, the aunt, they didn't really search all that much, right? Actually, before I read this to you, I want to show you this. Look at this. On January 9th of 2024, the last day Neziah was seen alive, right? Annette, the grandmother, said she was running errands. So she wasn't at home when Neziah was supposed to come home at 3 p.m. But you know who was home? Shannon and her little kids. I don't know doing what. But she didn't. You see, Shannon, ooh, that's a red flag. That's Neziah's aunt who had 5 children with Jarvis. The one who checked the tablet on January 21st. The one who said it was nothing more than an uncle and niece relationship. I mean, okay. Denial, right? I mean, it's really a lot more than that, and I'm sure you know that now, lady. Anyway, so the point is, this is a screenshot from Facebook. Thank you to Grizzly Cat for helping me find this. I saw this the other day, and then I just couldn't find it. I couldn't find it before this live stream. Now, what this says is something that contradicts what Annette said, because Annette said she was running errands, and then she went to the aftercare program, picked up the kids, realized, okay, she got home after 6 and realized, wait, Neziah's not home? And then clearly asked Shannon, so Neziah's not home? No, she's not home. Okay, where is she? And then she says she just like drove around. I mean, the auto repair shop is right there, but she pretends to not know it. Drove around looking for Neziah and then decided, everybody, good night. We'll just talk to the principal tomorrow, right? And she said that Neziah wasn't part of the aftercare program because she was having an issue with one of the girls, one of her classmates, right? And so, I just quickly want to see because I wrote this all down. Anyway, this is in response to that. Somebody posted, Dean, lies. I'm the school after program teacher. She was having problems with a little girl, yes, but that was the previous year. Ooh, oh my goodness. The previous year. So Annette was kind of saying Neziah wasn't part of this after school program because she was having, you know, issues with another little girl, and so we just decided to take her out of the aftercare program. Is that really the solution though? But okay. Or was it because you knew she was pregnant? I don't know. Or why? But my point is, Annette didn't realize that she wasn't home at 3 p.m. because she was out running errands. Shannon must have realized. 6 p.m., kids get fetched from aftercare, they come home, no Neziah. At some point, Shannon actually texts Jarvis to ask, Shannon called Jarvis, he didn't answer. Then she sent him a message, he replied, and then she said, still no tutter. And he said, oh wow, and I want to know what time that was. They didn't tell us at the preliminary hearing. What time was that message sent? But anyway, this lady says, I'm the after-school program teacher. She was having problems with a little girl, yes, but that was the previous year. She took Neziah out that summer because Jarvis came up there to see Neziah, and Neziah had lied to me, stating that he was her dad to pick her up the next day. Grandma took her out. I followed up with her asking why I haven't seen Neziah. She stated because they moved and didn't want Neziah having to travel that far from home by herself. But watching the case, you stated you stayed in the same house for a while, all lies. And I mean, the houses are on the same road. It's all on Bedford Road. So, wow. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. Anyway, so we've got that. And then, now I want to quickly show you this one. So here we go. When people say, well, did the family not care? Some did. There's many family members who really cared a lot about Neziah, and they stepped up and they protested and they shared flyers and they walked around and everything, right? Some family members didn't, some did. We've seen that in other cases too, right? So let me just make this the right size for you. Let's close this if we can. Family gathers to call attention to demand charges in the case of 13-year-old Neziah Harris, now missing for 4 months in Detroit. Relatives of a Detroit girl who vanished 4 months ago today are clinging to the hope that she's alive. This article is from May 9th of 2024, demanding action from authorities and pleading for anyone who knows something to speak up. The family of 13-year-old Neziah Harris gathered at the courthouse downtown Detroit on Thursday to remind officials and the community that Harris is still missing. The teen hasn't been seen since she got off a school bus near Cornwall Street and the 3 Mile Drive on Detroit's east side on January 9th. And while the Detroit News reported this week that police have identified a suspect, there have been no arrests or charges in connection with Harris's disappearance. Here they say Jarnell Smith Holland speaks with reporters as other friends and family hold up signs. You see, there's lots of people that care. There's lots of people that care about Neziah. Maybe not her household, speculatively, based on what we saw, based on what seems to be lies. On the stand even, wow. Okay, so this all comes about 2 years since Harris's great aunt, Jarnell Smith Holland, filed a report with Child Protective Services over concerns about child sexually abusive activity in the home where her niece was living. Other family members were trying to alert CPS. And now, since I found out there's at least 7 other CPS reports saying pretty much the same thing I said, Smith Holland said. So if the system works, we might not be here. Oh, you know when the judge said that everybody failed Naziah? Yeah, that includes CPS then. Right? Unfortunately. So they said, yeah, because they didn't do nothing, Smith Holland said. A cousin in town from Texas who goes by Roxy, I think Roxy's the lady who walks around with Mark D, right? They do a lot for the case. Mark D is the 7 Mile Radio host. You could find him on YouTube if you just search 7 Mile Radio. So, a cousin in town from Texas who goes by Roxy explained a sign the family made that reads, "Silence is violence." And they said justice for Naziah, also with pink, and then 4 months, no answers. And sadly now, it's over a year, no answers yet, except for obviously charges. First-degree murder charges for Jarvis Butts. He's definitely been charged with that. CSAM, other sexual abuse charges for 2 other victims. So, yes. Silence is violence because there's been too much silence, she says. Things were being reported, nothing was being done. Nobody was saying anything, and now it's turned into what we as a family think is violence. Speak up. In a report out on Monday, the Detroit News said that 2 police sources confirmed that a man considered a suspect in this case is 41-year-old Wayne County jail inmate who's accused of sexually abusing a 7-year-old girl. He remains behind bars, charged in April with 2 counts of criminal sexual abuse of a person under 13. Smith Holland said she wants to believe that her niece ran away from the home where she was living with that suspect, but lately she's losing hope. After police pretty much told us they had no contact with her, like the other kids might run away, but a cousin would hear from them, or a friend would have talked to them, or they might have logged on social media and post a picture or something, Smith Holland said. Naziah has not posted anything. She's not called anybody. She's not reached out to anybody. While Smith Holland is glad the suspect is behind bars, she and other family members are unhappy that no charges have been filed by the prosecutor in the case of her great niece. Of course, there's a lot to do, especially in a no-body case, and hopefully that will change at some point. Hopefully they find her body. But in a no-body case, there's so much to do to prove what you're going to charge this guy with, which they did do, and they charged him on September 27th of 2024 with first-degree murder. So they said, which is why she's out in front of the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, keeping Naziah's name at least alive, Campbell said. Back in March, police searched sites in Clinton Township and Ann Arbor, as well as the Rouge River for the teen, but found nothing. While the Detroit Police Department has released no new information lately, at the time of the river search, Chief James White made clear that investigators were inclined to believe the worst. Unfortunately, as time goes on, it does start to look more like a recovery effort, White said, adding, "We're prayerful that that's not the case." And here's some information numbers as well. If you have any information, you can contact these people, right? So I see everybody's asking if the children have been removed. And I did see on Facebook, so just take it with a grain of salt. But from what I've seen from the Justice for Naziah group on Facebook, yes, it seems like the children have now been removed from the home, that maybe now CPS has finally listened and intervened. And I think that's a good thing. I hope the children will be okay. So then we've also got this article here. Where is Naziah? Rally held on 4-month anniversary of 13-year-old girl's disappearance. They said a group of women marched outside. That's my South African accent. I say women, a group of women marched outside Frank Murphy Hall of Justice Thursday, chanting a question that's haunted them for 4 months. Where is Naziah? Naziah Harris has been missing, as we know, from January 9th, when the 13-year-old 7th grader, she was actually in 8th grade, they reportedly got off a school bus, and we know that, right? 2 Detroit police sources told the Detroit News the investigation into the girl's disappearance is focused on a 41-year-old man who spent 7 years in prison for having sex with an underage victim in 2004. And he had other charges. He spent a lot of time in prison before. The man is awaiting trial on 2 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct after he allegedly sexually abused a 7-year-old girl. He pleaded not guilty to the charges last month and is incarcerated in the Wayne County Jail in lieu of a $250,000 bond. Now, initially, I saw in chat someone said, why does he have bond? He doesn't anymore. He did initially. No bond now, being held without bond. Yesterday, someone also asked if his attorneys are public defenders. From what I researched, they seem like private attorneys, but I'm not too sure if they are private attorneys working in the capacity of public defenders, because sometimes they have to do like community service and do that. Or if somebody's paying for them, I don't know. If somebody has that answer, please email it to me. Nazia's relatives and their supporters gathered outside the Wayne County Circuit Court building on Thursday, hoping to raise awareness about the case and pressure Wayne County prosecutors into bringing charges against the suspect in connection with Nazia's case. According to police sources, the man dated one of Nazia's relatives. Janelle Smith Holland, Nazia's great aunt, and other relatives said that they called Michigan Child Protective Services multiple times on the man. They called multiple times on the man because they suspected him of inappropriate behavior with children, including Nazia. Michigan Department of Health and Human Services spokesperson Lynn Sutphin said the agency takes all reports of abuse seriously, but said the Michigan Child Protection Law and other statutes prevented her from disclosing whether the state had investigated the man. I mean, he was a registered SO. He is a registered S offender. He shouldn't be around any children. He should also not be making children. You know what I mean? Like, and being allowed to be around them. Oh, my word. Okay, one of the signs that was lined up outside the courthouse read, "Investigate Child Protective Services." Other messages on signs included 4 months and no answers. And if you've been violated by the suspect, speak up. That's still valid. Still valid. If you've been violated by the suspect and you haven't yet told police, I hope you'll be encouraged to do so because it can help strengthen the case against him, right? So that he can never harm children again if convicted. So many systems failed Nazia, Smith Holland said. The whole thing is just wrong on so many levels. People need to be held accountable and the suspect needs to be charged. So look at all these ladies. Look at them. I think they're all Grizzlies. You know, they've got that fierce spirit. They're out there, they're marching, they're protesting, they're looking for Nazia. They've got flyers. They're proactively trying their best to help. Virginia Jackson left participates in a rally to bring attention to the disappearance of 13-year-old Nazia Harris outside the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice in Detroit on May 9th of 2024. So January, February, March, April, May. 4 months later, right? Yes, that's why they said 4 months. I was just checking, okay? I have to count. Nazia has been missing since she got off her school bus, right? So Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor Maria Miller said in an email, "It's a police matter. The case is being investigated by the police. We do not have a warrant request that has been presented on it." Detroit Police Assistant Chief Michael Parrish confirmed that detectives have questioned the 41-year-old man in connection with Nazia's disappearance, but the Assistant Chief declined to discuss other details about the ongoing investigation. In March, a team of Detroit Police, Michigan State Police, and Clinton Township Police searched for Nazia in a pond near a 14-mile road and Gratiot. Someone said I must say Gratiot. Okay, did I say that right? That doesn't sound right. In Clinton Township, where the girl's family lived before moving to Detroit. Okay. Police also searched in Ann Arbor and the Rouge River on Detroit's west side. During the Rouge River search, Detroit Police Chief James White said the detail was more like a recovery effort, and that we know now. They wouldn't have known it then. It's because they found the articles of clothing with blood stains on it. 2 Detroit police sources said detectives were led to the search locations in Ann Arbor and the Rouge River after pinging the cell phone of the man who is the focus of the investigation. Yes, indeed. Smith Holland says she doesn't think Nazia will be found alive. All this time without hearing anything from her, I'm fearful she's not alive. I just don't see how a 13-year-old could survive this long. Kiwana Morton, Nazia's cousin, she's also on a YouTube video. Community Advocate Network, I think it's called. So Kiwana Morton, Nazia's cousin, said she doesn't think the girl's alive because there's been nothing from her all this time. She hasn't reached out to anyone. She said that's just not like her. Morton said she's getting really frustrated with the case. I'm sure police are working hard on the investigation, but we're not hearing anything, she said. Smith Holland said the ongoing trial of Jalen Brazier, who is accused of killing his 17-year-old cousin, Zion Foster, and entombing her body in a dumpster, gives her hope that the suspect will eventually be charged. And he was. I'm sure they were happy when he was charged, right? They said there's similar cases. There was talk that the suspect couldn't be charged because Nazia's body hasn't turned up, but they never found Zion's body either, and her cousin was charged. So maybe, even if they don't find Nazia, they will charge the suspect. Yes, they did. Yes, at least they did. Morton said her cousin didn't deserve whatever happened to her. Nazia was very playful, Morton said. She was always cracking jokes. See, I love to hear from family who describe her, her personality, right? Like, she was very playful. She was always cracking jokes. That was her thing. She once said she wanted to be a teacher, and then she wanted to be a hairstylist. She was a typical little girl. She'd lay her head on your shoulder, sometimes and talk about what she wanted to do with her life. Smith Holland said she's tormented by questions about what happened to Nazia. Who was she with? What was her thought process? What went through her mind? Smith Holland, a registered nurse, said she took time off work to attend Thursday's rally. She said another rally is planned outside the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice on June 25th, when the suspect in Nazia's disappearance is scheduled for a court hearing in the criminal sexual conduct case. I don't know what else to do except keep showing up, Smith Holland said. And there's the numbers to call as well if you want to. So we're almost done. We've still got this video to look at, which I think it's going to play an ad. So just hold on one second. Is it gonna? Oh, okay.
Harris and hoping for charges. Kiwana is Naziah Harris's cousin.
My nickname for her was Pretty Eyes. That's what I called her.
But it's been 4 months since she's seen those pretty eyes or the 13-year-old girl's smile.
What's really hard is not being able to give her the proper homegoing as she deserves.
Naziah was last seen getting off the school bus on Cornwall at 3 Mile on Detroit's east side January 9th. Police have scoured the city and other Metro Detroit communities in their exhaustive search. Her family is struggling, but still praying that Naziah might still be alive.
There's reason for us to believe that the worst, but we're trying to hope for the best.
A possible lead. Detroit police now have a 41-year-old man in custody, but he hasn't been charged in Naziah's disappearance. You think this is it?
I absolutely do.
Obviously, we're not fully relieved because they haven't charged him. We don't know if he has something to do with it or not. Obviously, as her family and what we know about him, we have our suspicions.
The unrelated charges the man is being held on are 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct with a person under 13 years old, and he previously served 7 years in prison for sexual involvement with a minor. Kiwana says she and other family members were wary of this man and told Child Protective Services and police.
I hope he never see a day outside of prison. I hope he never walk the streets again, because beyond Naziah, there's other young ladies. I'm not going to say any names on the record that he has hurt, but he has. There's many victims.
Kiwana hopes anyone who is hurt by this man in question comes forward so he can face justice and potentially help Naziah's case.
They're digging to get answers, but we want them, and we want them quickened. You know, they have them in custody. You know, gigs up. Let's go with these charges.
You could call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. There is a $4,000 reward on.
Okay, so the reward went up to $4,000, and you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously. Okay, I should have mentioned that as well. Flores, welcome. Texas 2 Pugs, you were asking about the court date. March 7th is a conference hearing. It's not the start of the trial. Initially, I thought it was, but it's a conference hearing. And so they will be discussing the logistics of the case and probably planning. Maybe they'll set a trial date at that point. Oh yeah, this one, let's see. I don't know if this one will play an advert. Will it? I don't want to blast your ears with an advert. Hello. It doesn't want to play it. There we go. There we go.
Harris was last seen months ago when she stepped off a school bus and was never...
This is from August 15th of 2024. So they're talking about search warrants being executed. Warrant requests could bring charges in missing Naziah Harris case. Somebody asked earlier, did they search the home? I really hope they searched all the homes extensively and all of that, right? We also heard around August 15th, around this time, they searched Latricia's car. But I mean, that's really months later, right? But it takes time to get these search warrants and probable cause to do so, right?
Never seen again. This is here on Detroit's east side. While working on this story, we met up with her cousin, who has been searching for what feels like forever at this point. And she says news of the warrant offers a little bit of promise.
We have some members from the community that have taken it upon themselves.
Following a lead on Detroit's west side, Mark DeAndre fired up a Facebook Live Thursday. He joined Naziah Harris's cousin Roxy to search for the teenager who's been missing since January.
Just going off of, the community.
So that's Mark D, and his channel is called 7 Mile Radio. Okay, he's interviewed a lot of the family members as well, and he works closely with Naziah's cousin Roxy. So for those only joining now, we're looking at old clips. We're looking at where have the police searched already, so that, if people didn't know where did they search already, then we know, okay, they searched those areas. What could still be searched? Obviously, don't just go out there and search by yourself. Hopefully the police are still searching, but Naziah's body has not been found yet, and that's really concerning. So where could she be? Which areas could she be in? So we looked earlier at a radius of Jarvis Butts' movements on January 9th and 10th. And particularly January 9th and the early morning hours of January 10th, it's about a 10-mile radius, from where he was. From the shop, and then to Wilshire, to Balfour Road, and then to the motel, and then to 4 East Alexandrine Avenue. That was pretty much where he went. We do not know yet what he did between 1 in the morning and 8 in the morning. All we know is at 8 that next morning on January 10th, he took Latricia back her car. He could have just gone back to the motel and slept, which is just also quite horrifying to think about. If he killed Neziah on that night. If he found a way to dispose of her and then went to sleep, wow. Imagine. You just never know. I would never be shocked by that based on what criminals like that do. He's an alleged criminal. In this case, of course, he's innocent or proven guilty in the murder case. The SA and the CSAM, he's already served time for previous charges, and now he's been charged with even more, right?
Okay. Concerns and things like that, and I took it upon myself to go check it out and just talk to the neighbors. So that's how we ended up over there.
To know that people that are still tuning into this Facebook Live, they're still chiming in, they're still offering leads, they're still showing up when you guys need. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great that I have support, because a lot of times I feel like I'm out here by myself.
How helpful has your Facebook Lives been to keep Neziah's name out there?
I believe they've been very instrumental in uncovering information from within the nucleus of the family, specifically those inside the house with Neziah, right? And uncovering a lot of information that's needed to be known.
The impromptu search happened hours after the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office confirmed a warrant request is being reviewed with Detroit police. The evidence included in the warrant could be enough to file charges against a person of interest. Fox 2 has followed the search for the missing 13-year-old girl since she reportedly stepped off a school bus at 3 Mile in Cornwall and then vanished. In the months since, we have seen authorities canvassing a neighborhood near the Rouge River and family members searching for answers outside places like the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. Neziah is described as a 5'2", 130-pound 13-year-old who was last seen wearing a light blue jean shirt, light blue jean pants, a pink and white Rugrats coat with a fur collar, along with blue and white Nike gym shoes.
There's some frustrations, obviously, but I'm still putting my shoulders back, head high, and not going to give up until we get justice for her.
Does news of this warrant offer any kind of hope, promise, any emotions related to that?
Yes, it sure does. I mean, the hopes are high now.
Because I got 2 sons, man, one 8-year-old and a 1-year-old. So it just worried me, man, that you can send your kids to school on the bus, public transportation that's provided by the school, and they may not come back home. That's just scary.
Neziah's cousin says she will continue to be out in the neighborhood, especially as new leads develop in this case. On Detroit.
Okay, so now we've looked at that, and we're just about done now. I just want to quickly look at, let's just see what was on this map now. Hello. Okay, we'll look at this one then. Was there one more thing here? Oh yeah, this was when, oh yeah, I don't want to miss this one. There's one more article here, and then we're going to look at the map one last time, and then we're going to call it a day, because I know you've been here for a while. Thank you so much all for being here and studying Neziah's case with me, and all the maps and the articles and these previous searches and the footage that we can see and what the family has said. It's kind of encouraging, to see, okay, they did fiercely search, they really did the best they could, and I would hope the police are still searching for Neziah. I like how Roxy, Neziah's cousin, said she's going to put her shoulders back, head high, and never give up. Never give up in fighting for justice for Neziah. Okay, so let's look at this one quickly. There were some interesting bits in this article. They said Wayne County prosecutor announces charges in the killing of 13-year-old Neziah Harris. This was, of course, in September of 2024. Prosecutor Kim Worthy announced at a press conference Thursday morning that Jarvis Butts, a 41-year-old Highland Park resident, is charged with first-degree murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and possession of sexually abusive material involving a minor. Oh my word. So there's another picture of him, if you haven't seen that. He will also be charged with sex crimes in 2 separate cases involving a now 20-year-old woman and an 11-year-old girl, with criminal sexual conduct charges for offenses that happened when both victims were under the age of 13. Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women to have sexual relationships with their young daughters, Worthy said. He was a classic and expert groomer, and can't say that word on YouTube. This one, a PDF file, as you guys have said in the chat there. Okay, it's incredibly sad and incredibly unspeakable, and we want to bring justice to her and her family. Neziah was lost in January 9th. This timeline we know, right? They said Worthy confirmed that her body has not been found, but prosecutors believe that they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she is dead in a court of law. The age of Harris's unborn child is unknown due to her body not being found. Worthy said that evidence shows that Butts was with Naziah the day that she was last seen, even though he denied it, and that several people saw them together in several locations. So now we know, again, in hindsight, because we've just watched the preliminary hearing, oh, so several people, like Cordell, right, and Talacia, because they went from the auto repair shop, they went to Ypsilanti, Talacia, her mother, so Cordell's son's grandmother, Cordell's son, they saw Naziah there. After that, I don't know if there's 100% confirmation of if Naziah was seen or not. Cordell said that Naziah was with them. What's weird is he says they were not talking at all in the car. I don't know. Would a 13-year-old not want to talk about just like no conversation from when they pick her up and no conversation to Ypsilanti and back? Okay. Maybe that's the case. Maybe they played music. But then Cordell says they were at the auto repair shop again at around 8:45 p.m. and he went home. I don't know. There's a little bit of mixed information online about whether there's actual footage from the Parkrest Inn or not. There's lots of cameras around there. There should be. But someone said there was footage of her, but then, you know, they only store the footage for so long. And I don't know if they actually have that. I really hope the investigators have that. I'm sure they have a lot more, obviously, than we've seen at the preliminary hearing. So here we watched this press conference together, if you haven't seen. They said at 9:30 that day, Butts checked into her motel and Naziah was never seen again, according to Worthy, which implies she was seen at the Parkrest Inn. He knew she was pregnant, and we knew that he was looking for ways to abort the baby, Worthy said. Prosecutors and police said they've gone through an incredible amount of evidence, including 111 gigabytes of video. They also detailed the events of January 9th, the day that Naziah disappeared. It includes video of Naziah getting onto the school bus, a selfie that she took on her iPad, a text message that she sent to a device associated with Butts, and more. According to prosecutors, she met up with Butts and a co-worker and went to the auto repair shop. Now, this timeline we've really gone over extensively. So they said the DPD investigation revealed that Jarvis Butts was well known to Naziah because he's the father of children with Naziah's biological aunt. Naziah's great-aunt and cousin, Kiwana Morton, told 7 News Detroit that some family knew about the abuse since 2022. That's what I wanted to show you there, right? So the young girl lived with her grandmother. They said they called Child Protective Services multiple times and nothing was done. That is just so sad. There's too many cases like that. Oh my word. They swept it under the rug, saying, well, I don't get in my kid's business. We're going to handle it, said Naziah's great aunt. I was like, you can't handle it. The proper authorities need to handle it. She did nothing. It is alleged that Butts sent Naziah multiple texts of sexually explicit nature beginning in September of 2022 when she was just 11 years old. In return, she reportedly sent him sexually explicit photographs of herself. Remember, she was a victim. She was groomed. Never blame or shame the victim. It is, so they said it is alleged that in September of 2023, she texted Butts that she had not had her period, and in November of 2023, the evidence reportedly shows that Butts knew that she was pregnant. Officials say his phone records show that he searched online about abortions, abortion pills, and drinking red antifreeze, which is a little bit, it's got a bit of a sweet taste, apparently, right? How does a 13-year-old girl walk around your house pregnant and you don't even know it, said Naziah's great aunt. For there to be only one person being charged is insulting. There's multiple people involved, and I see that sentiment everywhere. Facebook, all over the Justice for Naziah groups, I understand that people want the others to be held accountable. Kind of like in Madeline Soto's case, you know, we all look at her mom and like, huh, what? Like, what did you know, right? So, obviously that would be probably difficult for prosecutors. They must be able to prosecute. They can't just like arrest people. They must be able to prosecute and think that they can convict for them to even make an arrest. But you never know. You never know if we'll see more arrests or not, depending on what gets uncovered in the ongoing investigation. So they said on January 10th of 2024, it's alleged that Butts was in the Rouge River area in Detroit. The clothing Naziah was last seen wearing was found in the same area. More complete facts and evidence in the case will be introduced on the record, court officials say. Now the rest we also know. They said, this is one of the most difficult cases I've ever been part of, Chief James White told the media. Butts is expected to be arraigned. He was arraigned then as well. They said, that is not enough. It could have been prevented years ago, said Naziah's great aunt. Okay, so we've looked at that. What is this one? Oh, that's the temperature. We've looked at the barrels. And then lastly, this is again just the overview of the map. And we just today, we corrected where exactly that Park Crest Inn is, that it's just a little bit further north from where we were. It's not right across the road from the, not the AutoZone, from the, here's the Citgo, from the auto repair shop. It's not the one right across the road, even though Google Maps will sometimes put a pin on top of that building and say Park Crest Inn. It's actually a little bit further north at 20,000 Harper, as they stated in their testimony. This is the Park Crest Inn, and that is very likely where Neziah last was alive. So, and it's all within, as we saw, a 10-mile radius. So I hope if there are any abandoned schools, buildings, barrels that people haven't searched yet, especially the police, of course, I hope that it will be searched and that she will be found. Texas Tobacco says, Google man failed us today. He was just tired of waiting. He was just hanging in there. He was just waiting. Do you have any questions about the maps or anything else right now? I think we've pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover today. If there's anything else you want me to cover or that you think I should look at, please send me an email, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com, but also leave your comments below. I would like to hear your thoughts, right? I just think that sometimes, for example, if we go to this area, wait, it was further west here. Like, I think that, I'm speculating now, big time speculation warning, okay? I think that people like Jarvis, you know, it's almost like a Stefan Stones type, might think they're very clever throwing the ID card out here and then like putting clothing items here, you know, thinking they're being so sneaky, throwing people off. But it might just be, as I say, a distraction. One has to think like them. What would they do? So even if it was, is it here? Like we go here, this was where Neziah's clothing was found, in this wooded area. You see, if you're facing this way, it was found in this wooded area. That's where the river is pointing that way now, and it was found in there, articles of clothing. So when I turned around here, I thought, well, you know, if we had to think like him for a second, not that we know him, okay, if I had to speculate, well, if you just turn around, if he was like, I'm going to put the clothes over there and no one will know, and then, you know, hide a body in here somewhere, like by jumping the small little fence, you just never know. I hope this area has been searched as well, if they're allowed to. I don't know exactly what this property is with this gate, but I really hope so. And in fact, I think where those barrels are, where there's like a building somewhere in here, that's kind of near where those barrels are that people have been walking around searching. There. This area. This is where it says private property, no trespassing. So I'm not sure how they got in there. But somewhere in there, I think, is where those barrels are that we looked at earlier, which have like caution tape around them. And I would hope the police have opened the barrels and just looked in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day now because I could spend, I do spend hours in this rabbit hole. And I don't want to make the episodes too long, especially for replay watchers. If you are a replay watcher and you've watched all the way to now, oh my word, thank you so much. Please let me know in the comments. I really, really appreciate it. Everybody, I hope that you will stay safe. I hope that they will find Neziah. I hope there will be justice for her. And let's wait and see when the trial is. Next court date, March 7th of 2025, okay? So we will keep an eye on this case. We'll see what happens as well. And if there's anything that I can get from the court, which I have requested, you know, anything I can get, if it's documents, police interviews, photos, whatever it could be, I will keep you posted, all right, if I'm able to. But normally before the trial, you're not really able to, but I will do my very best. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, mods, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.